If you read my CV, I have some experiences to be judges. Whenever they presentation, whenever I read their paper, I will know it. Like I will know, oh, this they just want to apply for competition. So that's why I said innovation comes first. Because when we apply for competition, it's definitely wrong. We want to win and then go to the competition. It's definitely wrong. Because when we apply to competition, our purpose have to be right first. So our purpose is resolve the problem, not because we want to get achievement. Like achievement, yeah, of course we need it. Like we need appreciation, like achievement and stuff. But the main things when we apply for competition is not that. The main thing is we want to resolve this problem. And when it's your purpose is correct, so it's easy for you to get the achievement. It's easy for you to be the winner. You just go to the competition. You're gonna know it. Like if you have some experience to be judges, and when you read the paper or when you see their presentation, you're gonna know it. So the things that we have to do is I remember that someone said innovation first is only for genius. Okay, so next slide please. An idea. And where we get this ideal is. Someone mute this because it's too noisy. So where we can get a list of ideas. We can get it everywhere and when you wake up in the morning and you still remember your dream at night. Sometimes your dreams looks or seems it's impossible to achieve. For example, you are dreaming that you're gonna fly, you have wings and stuff. It sounds impossible. But who said it's impossible? Nothing is impossible in this world. It's gonna be possible. So there is possibility it's gonna happen. Whatever the idea is, no matter how crazy it is, just write down. Write down your list idea whenever you can. Since this day, like if you get suddenly you got idea, because sometimes our brain just thinking for 1 second got that idea. If we don't write it, we're gonna forget everything. So you have to create this idea list. This is very helpful in my life. I even until now I still have a lot of innovation that I couldn't apply for a competition, because once you got the idea list, you have a lot of idea. Whenever you see poster, you will know which one I can apply for this. Like you don't even have time to apply for all of them because you have too much idea, and that's actually good because you don't need to looking for competition, because whenever you see competition, oh, I have idea about this. So whenever you see poster, someone share it wherever you see it, and you can just, oh, I have idea for this, and you can write, I have idea for this. So you will never lose any idea. You will never feel empty about idea because you have this idea list. And as what I have mentioned, idea comes, they doesn't come twice. They only comes like 1 second, or even when you are in the toilet. When you're in the toilet, you take shower and then you're singing and suddenly oh, I think it's very great if you like this. When you go out from your toilet, write down. Don't do anything else, just write down. And this idea is gonna helpful. It's really helpful because yeah, in the whole of my, like, since I start writing until now, like I always have the idea list because it's gonna be really helpful. So start it from now. Like it doesn't matter you will write it in your phone or you want to write it in your phone or whatever is it, but you have to make sure you have the idea list. Because no matter what is the competition, you will have idea. That's why in my life, in my university, what I'm thinking is like how I can apply all of them, while because I have too much idea. So you will never thinking, what I shall write, what is the idea I have to make. You will never thinking like that because you have this list of idea. This is very important. So you have to do this from now. If you want to be successful, or if you want to resolve many problems, and you will get successful in the future. Okay. The next slide, please. And then for writing itself, so before we write, once you have that idea, I mean, like once you have the list of idea, of course, it's so easy for you to, oh, this one is suitable. Oh, this one is good. I can apply for this with this idea. And then the next step you have to do is build a framework before you start writing the whole paper or before you start writing the whole essay or paper and stuff. So the first thing you have to build a framework because once you writing, you will got additional idea. Like I want to add this, I want to add this, I want to add this. Well, it's actually not good because I have mentioned at the beginning, it's supposed to be specific. Because when you make it general, when you not make it specific, the reader will never understand what are you talking about, like which one you want to resolve, like what problem you can resolve. So like that's actually, if you can resolve many problems, that's fine. But like for example, in this my essay, I would like to resolve problems, especially for crop failure due to the past rats and flood attacks. So I want to resolve the crop failure problems. But the crop failure problem is not only this. There's probably other problems. Or maybe when I talk about the food production problems, I want to focus the food production problems due to crop failure. So when I'm writing, maybe there are a lot of food production problems, such as the delay of the distribution, and then it's stop or and stuff. Like those kind of thing usually will comes when you are writing. And once you are writing and that's gonna distract your focus. So you have to make this framework. So you can make sure like in the you are always be in the line. I mean like you will write definitely straight to what you want to do. Because once we write other things and it becomes general and at the end it becomes general, it's a kind of a bit hard for us to delete. So like erasing is actually harder than writing. Because if you are writing, you're gonna feel like, I don't want to delete this. It's gonna be so sad. I think it's important, but it's not important. Those kind of things. That's why you have to have a framework before start writing. Because if you have framework, you can be focused on it. Like in here, I give an example. The agricultural sector is main food source, and then that's what I want to talk about. So I will talk about the agricultural sector is the main food source. That's what I would talk. And then I would like to talk about crop failure due to past flood attacks leads to the food production problems. And then the things that we have to mention as well, previous ways to resolve the problems and what's their disadvantages or their imperfections. Like for example, in this case, this is the real framework that I made for one of international competition, and I was the second winner in that time. And then previous ways to resolve the problems. Like in my paper is early harvesting. So the previous way to resolve the crop failure problem due to past rat and flood attacks was like early harvesting. But early harvesting have disadvantages such as low quality of food. And then another way, rat repellents. If we use rat repellents many times, they're gonna be intolerant. So that's the disadvantages of the previous ways to resolve that problems. And another way, seed subsidy. But seed subsidy for it's not preventive action. It's like it happened first and then they do that. What I while it's better for us to prevent instead of repairing, because preventing action is way better than it happened and then we find something to resolve it. So my solution is AM2W is the name of my product, but it's actually not product, it's just my idea name. I said could be the best alternative way to resolve all the problems and tackle the previous ways, disadvantages, and imperfection. So this framework, that's what I hold. The whole I'm writing, the whole I wr- when the whole I'm writing for my essay in that time. So yeah, I will only explain about this. I didn't explain other things that doesn't have correlation with this. So this is very important. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Why not? First list of idea, and then next I'm gonna explain bring this example. The title is actually of my essay AM2W automatic mouse trap machine and water adsorbing as an effective agriculture plant protection to support food production. So as what you have seen in my framework, I was talking about food failure, and then agriculture is the main sector, and then it support food production. And what's my idea? What I made, because the title is a bit hard to read, like AM2W is a bit hard. Usually people use like very simple word, but in that time I didn't have time to thinking too much. So like I just okay, I just write this because
So that the results of our writing are meaningful and reap the benefits. And maybe the last question: how important is the position of understanding English for Generation Z, especially in Indonesia, who will meet the golden generation of 245? I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Fairul Baria for the question. And then please to Ms. Ike to answer the question. Ms. Ike, time is yours.
okay, thank you for the question. So the first question is how to build an ideas when we don't have a lot of experience yet. The answer is very simple. As what I have explained, build your idea list. Because idea comes to you not when you need it, but ideas comes to you when you it just like comes directly. Whenever, for example, like when you are in the toilet, when you take shower, or when you wake up and you dream about something, and when you look at something in a different way, for example, like you walk to your school, for example, and then you look at your right side or your left side, and then you feel like why they do that, like why don't they do like this. Those kind is actually idea. And for example, you're complaining like why this is so dirty, for example. That's the simple things, like why they don't make it clean, then how is to make it clean. That's very simple. That's why I said you have to have your list of idea from now, like, and you have to write it like every single day. I couldn't say every single day, but I'm pretty sure every single day you actually all have idea. But again, yeah, idea is comes just for 1 second. They doesn't come when you need it. Like for example, as simple as when you put your key and you don't need it, you will see it. But and then you are in hurry and you couldn't see it. That's what happened to us as well. Whenever you see poster and whenever you want to apply, if you do like problems come first, then the innovations, that's gonna be really hard because your brain wouldn't focus on it. But once you have that list, it's gonna be easy for you because you have that list. So how to get an idea, how to generate an idea? By make list, create your list. So yeah, that's the first question. And then the second one, what was the question for the second question? I forgot.
The second question is how to develop critical thinking in
Yeah.
writing. Okay.
Okay, how to develop?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so how to develop critical thinking? The answer is by reading. So read a lot of essay as much as possible. For example, if in your university you have senior or you have anyone who often join competition, you can ask, can I read your essay? Can I read your scientific paper? That's what I did. So in my high school, I didn't have any background of writing. I don't have any background of writing in high school, but and then I got background of writing in my university and I applied directly. So what I've learned a lot when I read a lot of essay, because while reading, you gotta know like, oh, the flow is like this, and at the end, you're gonna know which one is good and which one is not. Don't you 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 couldn't only read the winner. You have to read those who also lose. You could ask them, "Can I see your paper that you are not winning, that you lose?" You can read it like, and then you can evaluate what's wrong with this. This one is. I don't think they supposed to write like this and stuff. You're gonna know it by a lot, like reading a lot, as much as you can do. So ask people about their paper and read it. That's the way to build the critical thinking. Also, like how to make a good writing by reading people who have experience on it. Again, not only the winner, but you have to evaluate the loser as well. Because if you only read the winner, your your brain gonna thinking like, oh, this is a good is easy, but you never know what's wrong with that, because no one is perfect. Like even though they win, maybe there's something mistake that you think is important, but it's actually not important. So you have to read both way. And then the third question was how important English, right? So I think English is very important, especially if you want to apply for a international competition. But if you want to apply for just national competition in our country, that's not necessary. But yeah, if you want to apply for international competition, of course you have to, at least you have to be brave. You don't need to be good in grammar, but you have to be good in communication, because even though you make a lot of mistake in grammar, it doesn't matter as long as people that communicate with you understand what are you talking about, as long as they got what is your idea. So that's not about grammar, but it's about you have to be brave enough and you have to be good on explaining the idea. Not because if you have a lot of grammarly mistake, it doesn't matter when your idea, you can deliver your idea very clear. So how to deliver your idea very clear, it's about communication skill. So you have to develop your communication skill instead of only for grammar. But yeah, if you feel insecure with your grammar and you think like it's make you feel bad, like it makes you golden growth, it's gonna be a problem, because you're supposed to like change your mind. When you feel bad at grammar, there are two ways. First, you change yourself by learning grammar. Another choice, just don't give a fuck on it. Just focus on what you can do, what you can optimize. So like there are only two choices. Don't choose to be anxiety, don't choose to be worried about it, but the choice is only two. Just don't give a fuck on it and do what you can do, or you improve your grammar. That's the only choice. That's all. We couldn't hear your voice.
Okay, thank you for Miss Ike for the answer. And then for Miss Khairubaria, is it clear with the answer that has been given by Miss Ike?
MashaAllah, it is so clear and very clear. I can understand what she explained. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question and the answer. And the next is the in here question for Abdi Maulana. Please to Mr. Abdi Maulana to on your microphone and give your question. Thank you.
Thanks to moderator, Mr. Ahmad, permission to ask since speaker again. How should we, the millennial generation, as the agent of change, be able to build competence in the long time in the field of the writing in the era of Industry 4.0 toward 5.0 and the phase of the upcoming demography bonus? And what are the challenges and strategies to do? And how do we from innovative and creative power through the development of critical thinking skill and the field of writing? Thanks.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Abdi Maulana for the question. I will repeat again for the question. The question number one is how shall we, the millennial generation, as agents of change, be able to build competence in the long term in the field or waiting in the era of industry.
The voice is disappear.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, now it's good.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Jadi for the question number one is how should we, the millennial generation, as a gen of change, be able to build competence in the long term in the field of waiting in the era of industry 4.0 towards 5.0 and in the phase of the upcoming 2030 demographic bonus, and what are the challenges and strategies to do?
Okay. So in my opinion, like how we can compete in here is the way we can compete is if we have this feeling, always feel thirsty of knowledge. So if we always feel thirsty of knowledge, we're gonna study, 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 and learn and learn and learn. So once we learn, we can increase our ability, not only in writing, but like in all of aspects. Like feel thirsty of something. For example, when you're checking your Instagram, there are a lot of someone posting in your home, like homepage, and you see something that you're curious. Don't stop there. Just Googling and then move to Google and what is it? When you don't understand, don't stop. Like just move to Google. So actually, I followed. Now I didn't follow them anymore, but like in that time, I followed accounts like I still follow them. A kind of accounts that relate, such as like Google info Google, and then those kind of account that have relate. I mean general information. For example, like because I'm interested in healthiness, I follow medical stuff and those kind of thing. You have to follow all of them like as much as possible. So in my home, I rarely see my friends actually. Like most of things that I follow is those kind of information. So once you see them, oh, what is it? I don't understand. What is it? Don't stop that. Even though it's not in your major, even though it doesn't have correlation with what you've been learning now, it doesn't matter. Just go to your Google and find it. That's the way you can compete with other people. So the feeling thirsty of knowledge. So you have to learn and learn and learn. Whenever is it. So don't waste your time scrolling Instagram for nothing, but scrolling Instagram to get knowledge. That's what you have to do. And then what's the challenge? I think there are actually a lot of challenge, but the one that for me the concern is because we are in a bonus demography, it actually have advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages that we have a lot of brain, we have a lot of young generation that we can have a lot of ideas to resolve many problems in this country, for example. But the competition between us, because I'm also young generation, like between every young generation are very high. So once if we don't have something plus compared to them, we are nothing. So they will left behind us. They will left behind, definitely left behind. They will like they growth, we stop. That's like in short. So the challenge, especially for individual, we have to compete with them by improving our knowledge, improving ourselves, and keep growing, keep growing. Don't stop. Or if I didn't mention, but like in my last slide, I actually put quotes. 1 second you stop, 1,000 steps of your competitor. That's the most challenging thing for us because all of us now is young generation. Everyone compete. If you stop and you don't have plus point, you will just nothing. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ike, for the answer. And then the question number two is how do we form innovative and creative power through the development of critical thinking skills in the field of writing? It is the question number two from Abdi Maulana, Miss.
Sorry, I don't get the question. So
Okay.
where is it going?
Uh, how do we form innovative and creative power through the development of critical thinking skills in the field of writing?
Ah, I think the answer is because writing is the easiest way to express our feeling, to express our idea. That's the easiest thing. You know why? Because writing is free. We can write wherever we want. For example, our social media or wherever we want, like in every news, or we can write in website or stuff. So writing skill is very powerful to create or to encourage anything. Like that's the easiest way to do. For example, if you want to talk like this, not all of people can talk like this. Not all of people have the ability to speak in front of many people. While probably someone who cannot talk have greater idea, even greater than someone who can talk. So the way is from writing. Because I believe like public speaking like it's harder compared to the writing. So writing is the easiest way to express our feeling. That's the easiest way to express our idea, to deliver our ideas. So that's writing is very powerful for everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ike. For Mr. Abdi Maulana, is it satisfied with the answer that has been given by Miss Ike? Maulana?
Hello. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sis Ike. Very interesting. The answer is very useful.
Okay, thank you. And then thank you, Miss Ike. This is the last question. And for selected participants who have asked question, will be contacted by the committee to get a door prize. And then the last question will be given by Citra Anissa, Miss Citra Anissa. Um, please welcome to Miss Citra Anissa to give the question to Miss Ike.
Oke, halo.
And is yours.
Suaranya sudah terdengar ya?
Yes, it's
Okay.
clear.
Oke, sebelumnya I'm so sorry. Untuk Miss Ike, I would like to ask you in bahasa aja ya, but you could still answer it in English. Jadi ini ada 2 pertanyaan dari Citra. Yang pertama, sebagai pembelajar bahasa Inggris yang kita basicnya bukan native speaker, tentunya ada beberapa tingkatan yang banyak Citra tahu adalah seperti beginner, intermediate, hingga expert gitu kan, seperti native speaker. Nah, bagaimana cara kita untuk bisa mengukur skill? Apakah ada tools atau website atau something lainnya yang bisa bantu kita sehingga kita bisa tahu level diri kita itu ada di tahap yang mana? Intermediate kah, beginner kah? Sehingga nantinya kita bisa develop skill kita untuk naik level sesuai dengan tujuan yang kita mau. Kemudian yang kedua, adakah tips and trick untuk kita yang baik dalam writing tapi kita tidak terlalu baik dalam pronunciation, karena sejauh Citra belajar bahasa Inggris, somehow logat bisa jadi pengaruh dalam kesulitan dalam pronounce itu sendiri untuk pronounce bahasa Inggris. Jadi ketika present tentang ide kita yang ketika di paper, di tulisan itu value-nya besar, value-nya baik, produknya bagus, idenya bagus, tapi tiba-tiba jadi drop ketika kita present karena penyampaian kita buruk dan terhambat juga oleh pronunciation itu tadi. Terima kasih, Kak.
Okay. I think the moderator is not here.
Okay, do you hear me, Miss Ike?
Oh, okay.
Oke, untuk pertanyaan dari Kak Citra Anissa, ini menggunakan bahasa Indonesia ya Kak. Jadi untuk pertanyaan pertama itu sebagai pembelajar bahasa Inggris yang bukan native speaker, kan ada berbagai tingkatannya mulai dari beginner, intermediate, hingga expert. Itu yang betul-betul seperti native speaker. Nah, bagaimana cara mengukur skill kita untuk mengetahui ada di mana level bahasa Inggris dari kita, sehingga nantinya kita bisa untuk mendevelop skill kita untuk naik dari level tersebut. Mungkin untuk pertanyaan pertama bisa dijawab dulu Kak.
Okay, shall I answer in English or Indonesia?
Maybe for Indonesia too.
Okay. Jadi kalau misalnya ini ya apa? Gimana caranya kita tahu tingkatan? Gimana caranya kita tahu tingkatan bahasa Inggris kita? Jawabannya ada 2. Yang pertama, official test. Kayak misalnya TOEIC, IELTS, TOEFL. Tapi ini berbayar dan biasanya mahal. Kalau misalnya mau official test, tapi kalau misalnya mau official test, it's better for us to prepare first, like study first. Jangan langsung kayak ngambil official test karena itu mahal. Alternatifnya ada biasanya mereka itu nyediain preparation test. Preparation test kayak buat TOEIC, TOEFL, IELTS yang harganya biasanya jauh lebih murah. Kayak misalnya kalau yang official test TOEIC itu sekitaran 800.000. Kan mahal banget, jadi rugi kalau seandainya kalian ngambil tapi nggak belajar. Jadi alternatifnya kalian bisa ngambil preparation test. Kadang preparation test ini tuh bisa gratis atau bahkan murah kayak 20.000, 50.000, atau 100.000. Jadi kayak jauh banget harganya. So better to take the preparation test. Or another alternative, actually kayak kalian bisa pakai yang versi gratis. Misalnya YouTube. Di YouTube itu dulu waktu aku belajar tes TOEIC, di YouTube itu banyak banget kayak soal-soal tes TOEIC, terus nanti mereka ngasih kunci jawabannya, kalian bisa ngitung skornya berapa. Jadi itu kayak alternatif low budget. Jadi kalau seandainya kalian nggak ada budget, pakailah YouTube. Misal cari aja simulasi tes apa gitu, misalnya tes TOEIC contohnya, simulasi tes TOEIC. Biasanya tuh mereka kayak ngasih soal-soal dan dikasih kunci jawabannya. Jadi, tapi kerjainnya harus sungguhan. Jadi misalnya waktunya cuma 60 menit misalnya. Selesai dalam 60 menit, jangan ditambah-tambahin. Karena kalau kalian tambahin atau dikurangin, kalau dikurangin nggak masalah. Tapi kalau seandainya ditambahin, nanti nggak sesuai hasilnya. Jadi, better kalian tes. Tapi kalau kalian butuh sertifikat buat kayak to approve, kalau misalnya kalian itu kayak real this is my score, itu kalian ambillah yang preparation test atau yang official test dari lembaga. Kalau misalnya kalian cuma pengen tahu where is my level, like what is my level, ya udah kalian bisa aja pakai YouTube tes yang gratis-gratisan kayak gitu. That's all.
Oke, thank you Miss Ike atas jawabannya. Karena saat ini waktunya sudah habis. Maybe question and answer session has finished. For participant who still want to ask the question, please write in the comments column, and answer will be sent by the committee at the later time. At the later time, I would like to conclude all of the materials by Ms. Ike.
Yes, you could do that, or maybe you could just send me message on Instagram as well. That will be fine for me.
Oke, Okay, can you repeat again, Miss Ike?
No, I just say it like, yeah, maybe if you still have question, you can ask the committee to send a question to me, or either way, you can just send me direct message to Instagram because yeah, just send it to me and I can answer it.
Yes, that's it. To conclude, all of the materials is writing skills is very important to all of us, not only for increase our knowledge, but also can be improve our self-improvement. One of them is all about scholarship. Many scholarship should be essay requirement, so we have to prepare our essay right now. Okay. Okay, there is a lot of extraordinary knowledge that we have gained. Hopefully, all the material that has been delivered can be useful for all of us for now, tomorrow, and in the future. Before this event is over, this session is over. I mean, there will be a memento handover from the organizing committee of the Kios Corner 2022 to our speaker, Miss Ike. The first one will be handed over to Miss Ike. Please, the committee can represent Miss Ike. Okay, please the committee to give memento handover to Miss Ike. The memento handover from the organizing committee is can represent the Miss Ike.
Okay, I would like to thank you so much for our great moderator Ike Rahmania for the material that delivered. There is a little gift for us from us, so would you please
Thank you.
Okay, thanks PCK. The material is very useful and also awesome. So guys, before we starting the next presentation to be more enthusiastic, let's do jargon of Kios Corner 2022. If I say Kios Corner 2022, you have to say grow potential, develop innovation, be accomplished youth. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, Kios Corner 2022. Grow potential, develop innovation, be accomplished youth. Okay, thank you. The second speaker in Kios Corner today, he is a lecturer at Universitas Gajah Mada and graduator and had a lot of information to share about scholarship. I will read the curriculum vitae of our speaker today. Okay, the next speaker who are the famous and great people as educator and content creator. We often meet him in social media, seminar, and a lot of international workshop. Of course, he is Mr. Imade Andi Arsana, the head of Universitas Gajah Mada International Office. Mr. Imade Andi Arsana, born in Tabanan, 12 May 1978, and addressed at Widomartani, Sleman, Yogyakarta, and have hobbies swimming and cooking. He was graduated for bachelor degree in Universitas Gajah Mada 2021, and then master in University of New South Wales, Australia, in at 2006, and PhD in University of Wollongong, Australia, 2013. Mr. Arsana has experience in scientific and popular activities such as the first winner of Digital Bisa ID Waiting Competition, Digital Accelerate Indonesia 2021. And then the first winner of Falling Walls Lab Competition in DAAD Jakarta, representing Indonesia at Falling Walls Berlin 2018. Inspired lecturer in Geodetic Engineering UGM, KMTG Awards 2017. Gajah Mada University Favorite Lecturer, Gajah Mada Awards 2016. This is the several prestigious achievement for Mr. Arsana and many more achievement for Mr. Arsana. And then the publication for Mr. Arsana is two books, several joint books published in Indonesia, Germany, the Netherlands, Australia, Singapore, and America. Around 70 articles in the Jakarta Post and dozens in other mass media, more than 250 papers, books, journals, newspaper articles, online publication, presentation papers, hundreds of articles on scholarship on madeardi.com. Okay, and then with the persistence, Mr. Arsana got several scholarship, such as 2012 until 2013, Alisan Sudrajat Awards for Research at the University of Wollongong, Australia, and then 2008 until 2012, Australian Leadership Awards for Doctoral Studies at the Union of Wollongong, Australia, and then 2007, United Nations Nippon Foundation Fellowship for Research in Australia and the United States. And then 2004 until 2006, Australian Development Scholarship for Postgraduate Studies at UNSW, Australia. Okay, and then the next is the experience in organizational activities, such as in 2022, had as a head of Events and Multimedia Division, International Association of Indonesia Scientists, 2022 until 2024, and then 2020 as steering committee at United Kingdom Indonesia, Consortium on Indisciplinary Science 2020, and then 2018 until present at Indonesian representative for the ASEAN International Mobility for Student Program, and many more for organizational activities for Mr. Arsana. Okay, please welcome Mr. Imade Andi Arsana.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Mr. How are
Yes,
you?
can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
All right. Should I start now?
Yes. Mr.
All right,
Arsana,
thank you.
last time I saw Mr. Arsana in the social media, especially in TikTok and Instagram. I see Mr. Arsana give the tips and tricks for the student about education, such as about tips and tricks for making a thesis, choosing the best publication for the article, and many more.
Right.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's very good education, Mr. Arsana.
Thank you so
It's
much.
cool. Okay, and then in this time we can discuss about writing skills with you, Mr. Imade Andi Arsana, in Kios Corner 2022. I feel like very excited today to hear about the material and tips and tricks from you, Mr. Imade Andi Arsana. Okay, Mr. Imade Andi Arsana, are you ready for the presentation?
Yes, thank you so much.
Mr. Andi Arsana.
Thank you very much, Ahmad, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I can see 223 people here. Wow, I think, because this is actually Sunday, I thought the participants will be only like 10 or 20, but this is, wow, a great number, 200 plus. Thank you very much for attending this very good event organized by our friends in UNES. I really appreciate this. I always make a jokes that usually during the weekend we spend our time the strongest one is actually in bed during weekend. So if you can actually go against the graffiti in bed, I think you will be successful in the future. I really hope that. The committee asked me to present this in either in English or in Bahasa Indonesia. What do you think? Should I present this in English or in Bahasa Indonesia? English, all right. Mix.
Maybe
okay.
mix.
All right. Meaning mix English and Bahasa Jawa, probably. All right. Thank you so much once again. I would like now to show my PowerPoint. Can you please allow me to show my PowerPoint, please, the committee? Because I'm not the co-host at the moment. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. If you can already see my PowerPoint, can you confirm, please, Ahmad?
Okay, Mr. Arsana.
Is it on? Tell stories to you. This is not actually to teach you anything, but I'm just telling my story. Exploring the world through writing. That's what I am preparing for you. Sebuah persiapan menulis untuk kompetisi dan presentasi. There's once I watched a YouTube video. An author from Chile called Isabel Allende asked, "What is truer than the truth? Apakah yang lebih benar dari kebenaran?" And the answer is story. Cerita lebih benar dari kebenaran. That's what she said. Why? Because we never know the truth actually, kata Isabel. Like you never know the kinerja of Pak Jokowi. You never know the kinerja of Menteri. What you know is actually the story of the kinerja of the president or the story of the kinerja of our Menteri. So you don't know the reality. What you know is about reality. Sorry, what you know is about the story. Kita nggak pernah tahu apa yang dilakukan oleh Sambo. Yang kita tahu adalah berita tentang Sambo, right? So story represents reality. So imagine if you can create a story that is very close to the reality, it means your story can be the reality. Or because people can never know the reality, then the story becomes the reality itself. So that's why what is truer than the truth? Story. Story is writing. Okay, writing is one of the way to build story. So writing is really important because when you write, you can represent reality, or even you can make something truer than the truth. That's what writing is all about. Dalam sejarah, kita tahu kita berubah karena pembuat sejarah atau karena pelaku sejarah. Tapi kita belajar dari penulis sejarah. We understand Bung Karno, but we haven't met Bung Karno, right? We know Bung Karno because of the story people wrote about Bung Karno. So we don't learn from Bung Karno, we learn from the story of Bung Karno. So we don't learn from him, we learn from someone else who wrote about him. That's the power of a writer, an author like you. We face questions every day, like this. Berapa jumlah penduduk Filipina? 1 euro itu berapa rupiah? Berapa usia Pak Jokowi? What do you do when you face these questions? Of course, you ask Google, right? What is the population of the Philippines?
In 2020, the population of Philippines was 109,035,343.
So in less than 1 minute, I can know the answer already. What is 1 euro in Indonesian money?
14,880 Indonesian rupiahs.
Berapa usia Pak Jokowi?
Apple Music doesn't support.
Kamu nggak tahu siapa Jokowi?
Apple Music doesn't support that.
Why? Why Siri doesn't even know the age of our president? How old is the president of Indonesia?
Joko Widodo is 61 years old.
So it is not because the internet doesn't know, because I posted the wrong question, right? The way I asked question was wrong. So what is the moral of the story? First, you can have a very good hardware, you can have a very good software, but if your brainware is not good, it's just not good. If the brainware is not good, and then it is not good, you cannot really have the answer. So it is a hardware, it is a software, and it's a brainware. So what you are doing now is actually to develop your own brainware in order for you to be able to use hardware and software effectively. So let me continue now. So this is what we call the society 5.0, where actually the key is the human being. The key is not the software, the key is not the hardware, the key is the human being. We have to be able to decide, right? Now allow me to show you a technology which is about research on artificial intelligence. Sorry, I'll just like to confirm once again. Can you see me? Can you see my slide still? Ahmad, is it here? Okay, imagining research and innovation, right? Okay, this is actually a very short video. I would like to show this video. It's like a few seconds only. I'll start from now. I hope you can hear the sound.
Look at these images. Now, tell me which Obama here is real.
To help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
Anyone? The answer is none of them.
Okay, this is a researcher on artificial intelligence. When he started to present his research, he asked a questions. Mana dari keempat ini Obama yang asli katanya. And then by the time he posted this question, everybody in the room would really try hard to identify which one is the original Obama. And you know, the answer was none of them. So none of the four was actually the real Obama. So all of them are actually created by artificial intelligence. So this is a good way to present your research, not by telling them all the technicalities and all the difficulties, but by telling them the impact or the result. All right. So if you imagine research, you might imagine this kind of thing: innovation, artificial intelligence, advanced technology, all of those kind of things. But do you imagine, have you imagined something like this, for example, when you talk about research and technology? Maybe not, right? Because this pin is actually not part of the advanced technology in your imagination. But if I presented this in 1980 something, sorry, in 1840 something, I might have shown you this, because this was actually invented in 1849. So this was patented in the US in 1849. So what I wanted to say is that if you see something very advanced today, it might not be advanced anymore in 2 years or 3 years from now. Or if you see something very simple today, it might be a great innovation, like say 100 or 200 years ago. So all technology and innovation is relative to times, actually. Have you got my point? Okay. Have you known this? There is a machine that can convert grass into meat. Ada mesin menciptakan atau mengubah rumput jadi daging. Ada yang pernah lihat nggak itu? Mungkin belum pernah ya. But if I show you the machine, the shape of the machine, it looks like this. Okay, I know this is a joke, but what I wanted to say to you is that sometimes we appreciate more what created by man, but we less appreciate what created by God. That's first. Second, sometimes we think about innovation, we think about something far away from us. Actually, innovation are around us. So if you want to do something effective in your research, pay attention to your surroundings and find problems over there. So then with that, you can find a solution that is actually beneficial for the people around us. Okay. Next, setelah kita mikir tadi soal riset, soal penelitian segala macam, sekarang kita berpikir soal menuliskannya bagaimana. Ali bin Abi Thalib mengatakan, ikatlah ilmu dengan menuliskannya, right? Jadi setelah kita mendapatkan ilmu, kita mengikatnya dengan nulis. So by writing it. Why do we need to write? First, there's a saying, verba volant scripta manent. Spoken words fly away, written words remain. Ucapan itu terlupakan, tapi tulisan itu yang abadi, katanya. So if you want to make yourself abadi, write. In a more serious note, everybody would start from data, right? If you manage, if you manipulate, if you manage the data, you'll be able to create information. If you accumulate the information, you'll be able to have knowledge. The question is, if you have knowledge already, when do you think the knowledge will be useful for the society? The answer is when the knowledge become policy. Jadi dari data kita olah jadi informasi, informasi menjadi pengetahuan, pengetahuan itu akan berguna kalau dia menjadi kebijakan, aturan main di masyarakat. Baru masyarakat akan memanfaatkannya. So, how do you transfer the knowledge into policy? By writing it. Kita harus menulis pengetahuan itu agar bisa menjadi kebijakan. Jadi no data, information, and knowledge will be officially useful for the society until they become policy. Dalam rangka membuat pengetahuan itu menjadi kebijakan, maka kita harus menuliskannya. Apalagi alasan yang lain. Keringat rakyat. Because what you are doing now, you study in UNES, you study in UGM, or anywhere you're studying now, you might think that you pay for the study, that's right. But if you think again, you cannot actually gain all of those benefit only by paying the UKT. Dengan membayar hanya UKT 5 juta, 10 juta, sebenarnya kita nggak bisa mendapatkan semua fasilitas yang kita dapatkan sekarang. So dari mana bantuan itu datang? Dari pajak rakyat. So you are studying because of the pajak. I'm also doing something. I got my gaji, my salary because of the pajak rakyat. So we have to pay back to the people, and writing is one of them. Kalau kita meneliti agar orang yang memberikan dukungan dana itu bisa mendapat manfaat, maka kita harus menuliskannya agar masyarakat juga mengerti dalam bahasa yang mereka pahami tentu saja. Jadi menulis itu alasannya macam-macam seperti tadi, right? Atau apalagi writing for competition. Ahmad already mentioned about me winning a competition last year, actually from the digital visa. I won the first place, and the prize for that is lumayan, 5 juta rupiah. I got that 5 juta rupiah. So now the question is that why do you write? There are a lot of questions. Writing for a competition is one of them. So if you want to win something, you can write. So basically find your own reason, find your own cause when you want to write. What else? Me, because I wrote because I'm happy, and I'm also I choose to use writing as a hobby. I traveled around the world because of that writing. If you can see this is the place that I've visited because of the writing. So I've been to, I don't know, like 40 or 50 countries probably because of that writing. So if traveling is your motivation, writing can be the answer. Is traveling and discovering the world is your motivation or your dream, writing can be a solution or can be an answer for you. Allow me to give you a story. I was invited to give a talk in Monaco. Monaco is a country, South France. It's a very small country. One day I wanted to eat kebab, and I wanted to eat nasi goreng. And then I asked the committee where I can find the nasi goreng, and then they gave me the answer here, the address. So this is actually where the Asian restaurant is. The blue dot is where I gave the presentation. When I checked using my Google Maps,